Okay, let's unpack this. Get ready for a deep dive into some truly provocative source material today.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at excerpts from a book called Marathon Sex, Incredible Lovemaking Experiences, Hotter and Longer Than You've Ever Done It Before.
Wow. Okay.
Now, right off the bat, that title tells you this isn't exactly, your standard take on intimacy.
No, absolutely not. The core idea here, it seems, is a real shift in perspective.
How so?
Well, it suggests that sex doesn't have to be purely spontaneous. It can actually be something you plan out.
Like structured.
Exactly. Structure into a multi-stage event, or what they call a move.
And they really lean into this marathon analogy, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
Comparing these planned experiences to running an actual marathon.
Saying it takes preparation
Yeah.
and enthusiasm,
Yeah.
a plan to get to the finish line.
That's the whole premise, really, bringing this sort of intentionality, this structure to intimacy.
To create something deeper, more exciting.
And definitely longer lasting, based on the title anyway. Longer than typical encounters is the idea.
Right, so just to be clear, our mission here isn't about endorsing the content itself.
No, not at all.
It's about diving into these excerpts, pulling out the key knowledge nuggets, the surprising techniques.
And the overall framework the source presents for this marathon sex concept.
Yeah, we're exploring the ideas here, understanding the structure, highlighting the specific scenarios and techniques they lay out.
Exactly. Think of it like we're dissecting the blueprint they're offering for, well, structured intimacy.
And speaking of blueprints, the book apparently uses a really consistent structure for each of these marathon sex moves.
It does, yeah. It's like a pre-planned route for every different experience they describe.
So what does that look like?
Well, each move is broken down into sections, kind of like stages in a race.
Okay.
You start with the course map.
The course map, so the overview.
Yeah, basically the game plan. It outlines the experience, tells you what gear you might need, any prep work involved.
Okay, so gathering supplies, knowing where you're headed, then what?
Then there's the warm-up.
Makes sense, like stretching before a run.
Sort of. This part is all about setting the mood, foreplay, building that initial arousal, getting you ready for the main event.
Which is the marathon itself.
Right. The core of it. This is where you find the detailed, step-by-step instructions for the creative sex play they're suggesting, designed to keep the energy up.
And keep it going.
Exactly.
And then to bring it all home.
The last laps.
Okay.
These are the final actions, maybe specific positions, that are designed to lead you towards the finish line.
Orgasm, basically.
Orgasm for one or both partners, yeah.
The source also mentions these little sidebars. Tips to cross the finish line, running notes, things like that.
Yeah. Those are described as being full of useful info, apparently drawing on research or experience.
And they focus on.
Often on creativity, playfulness, reminding you not to get too hung up on doing it perfectly.
Which feels important because the book itself seems to encourage adapting things, right? Changing it up.
Oh, definitely. It explicitly says to adapt, change, modify. The big message seems to be prioritize having fun over executing some perfect script.
So the structure is more like a suggestion,
Yeah.
a jumping off point.
Exactly. Not some rigid thing you have to stick to if it's not working for you or, not feeling right.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's jump into some specific examples of these marathon sex moves then.
Sounds good.
We can start with move 4, Sexalicious. This one seems to frame intimacy around cooking and eating together.
Yeah, it's interesting. The key insight here seems to be using the whole process, preparing food,
Yeah.
sharing it as a deliberate way to engage all the senses.
So it becomes more than just dinner.
Exactly.
Right.
Turning it into something intensely sensual.
And they use this cooking term, mise en place.
Right. Which means everything in its place.
Okay.
The book applies that idea to creating the sensual cooking experience. So you get your kitchen clean, you have your ingredients prepped.
You set the stage before things get cooking, so to speak.
Precisely. They suggest prepping specific things ahead of time, too.
Like what?
Like brandy gelatin shots.
Gelatin shots.
Marinated fruit or pound cake, frozen grapes. It's not just about the main course. It's about creating these sort of edible props.
Right. And the gear needed is pretty simple, a fondue set.
Yeah, they mention that specifically, noting it can be quite cheap. The focus isn't on fancy equipment.
It's on the process. The senses.
Totally. The touch of food, how food feels on skin, the smell of spices. They mentioned
Okay.
cinnamon, ginger, traditional
And
aphrodisiacs.
taste, obviously. Chocolate gets a mention.
Of course, they even bring up alcohol,
Oh, yeah.
mentioning it can lower inhibitions, which, can be good,
What?
but it might also lower physical sensitivity or even inhibit erections sometimes. So, something to be aware of.
And those gelatin shots, are they complicated?
The details sound quite specific, yeah. Gelatin, rum, brandy. Needs hours to set.
So it definitely underscores that preparation part you mentioned.
Yeah.
This isn't spontaneous.
Not at all. And setting the mood is part of that prep, arranging the eating area, maybe picnic style on the floor, using tea lights.
And the amuse-bouche, what's that about?
That's where the gelatine shots come into play. Like holding one between your teeth for a kiss or breaking them up to make trails on your partner's body for them to lick off.
Okay, so it's playful, engaging with the food itself.
Very much so. They even suggest things like ice water breaks, using a cold tongue on hot spots like earlobes.
On a practical safety note.
A very practical one. Maybe avoid a vigorous sex play while you're actively frying oysters or anything with hot oil.
Yeah, good call. Definitely good advice. Okay, so the last lapse for this food move, it's called the orgasm buffet.
Right. And the idea here is using food instead of, say, fingers or tongue for stimulation,
Okay,
with a necessary hygiene note, obviously.
right,
Keep the food outside the vagina.
right. Important. What kind of examples do they give?
Things like starting with pound cake dipped in chocolate, focusing on the taste, licking it off fingers. Bananas are mentioned. The shape, the symbolism, sharing one or using it to demonstrate techniques.
And the frozen grapes?
Suggested for chilling nipples or rolling and swirling them on the penis, using only the mouth.
Just the mouth.
Yeah, and they suggest closing your eyes to really focus on the sensation, heighten that sense.
They even suggest a kind of game, hide and seek with pound cake.
Yeah, using chocolate trails on the body that the partner finds using only their nose and mouth.
It sounds less about perfect technique and more about creating a fun, sensual game.
Exactly. It reframes eating as this intimate act of exploration.
Okay, fascinating. Let's shift gears now. Move 5, going and coming, out on the town.
Right.
This one is described like a pub crawl, hitting local spots to build tension, painting your town sexy.
Yeah, the core idea seems to be leveraging public or semi-public spaces, using them to build excitement through these playful, quick encounters.
Quick encounter, so not necessarily full-on sex at each stop.
No, not necessarily aiming for orgasm every time, especially, they note, for the man, as a way to kind of maintain the tension and prolong the whole night.
Okay, so the warm-up starts at stop, #1, the restaurant. What happens there?
You choose a discreet table, sit really close, side by side maybe, start whispering compliments.
About specific things.
Yeah, like legs, shoulders, smile, then you escalate it. Sex talk, whispering how hungry you are for her, how you can't wait to feel him inside you, that kind of thing.
While you're in the restaurant.
Right. Combined with public displays of affection, kissing, maybe nibbling an ear or neck.
And then under the table step.
Then comes the discreet hand stimulation, yeah.
So they give details.
Oh, yeah, very specific techniques, like using certain fingers to grip the shaft like a faux vagina or stroking the balls.
Okay.
They even acknowledge you might use pre-cum as lube. The whole point is subtlety, building this intense, hidden sensation right there in public.
Okay, intense. So the marathon section moves to stop. #3, the dance club. Finding a dark corner.
And here they suggest some club-friendly positions.
Such as?
Like against the wall, her back's to the wall, legs spread a bit, he's in front. You open the fly, lift her skirt, quick penetration.
And the key is?
Keep intense eye contact. Apparently that helps you avoid looking too obvious to others.
Okay. What else?
Over the ledge, leaning against a railing, maybe in a stairwell or upper level, her butt pushed out, him behind her.
Same idea. Lift skirt, penetrate.
Yeah, maybe moving subtly to the music. They do caution not to bend over too far, though.
Right. So these aren't about long, drawn-out sex acts.
No, more like quick jolts, public excitement, heightened sensation because of the risk.
Got it. In the last laps. Have a seat in home. Let's have a seat.
This is maybe in a dimly lit corner booth or chair. She sits on his lap, facing away.
How does that work?
She can drape the front of her skirt normally, but lift the back for access.
Oh, okay.
And the technique involves penetration with minimal movement, relying more on, like, PC muscle contractions for friction.
And the insight here from the source.
It's about pushing boundaries. overcoming potential embarrassment, celebrating trying something outside your comfort zone, and crucially, not caring what other people might think.
Right, and if you don't climax during these stops.
Then you finish up when you get home.
And the afterglow is important too.
Very. Snuggling nude, talking about the whole thrilling experience you just shared, reliving it.
There was a running note about breathing.
Yeah, syncing your breathing.
Yeah.
Suggested as a simple but powerful way to connect, get present in the moment, and manage arousal. Useful anywhere, really, but especially in those high-tension public spots.
That's quite a concept. Using public energy and the risk of getting caught to feel the whole thing.
It really turns the environment itself into a major player in the experience, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, next up, move 6. Hotspot pinball. This one sounds different. Hands only.
Yeah, this move focuses purely on hands-on techniques, exploring the body's sensitive spots, trying to screw high, like in pinball.
So treating the body like a game.
Kind of. Deliberately seeking out those jackpot zones of sensation, just using your hands.
How does it start? The warm-up.
It involves connecting first with a non-sexual embrace, syncing breathing again, deepening it, focusing energy through the fingertips.
Channeling energy.
That's the idea, yeah. Then the main technique described. It's for player #1, stimulating player #2. Specifically, his turn to play, her turn to come.
So him using his hands on her.
Essentially, yeah, making love with his hands, focusing that energy through touch onto her body. It sounds less about rigid steps and more about the intent and the focused touch.
Exploring the landscape of the body.
Exactly. Discovering or rediscovering areas that get a strong response, like hitting the high-scoring bumpers on a pinball machine, finding those hotspots.
Interesting metaphor. Okay, let's transition to move 7. Team in training. An erotic role-playing workout.
Uh-huh. This one suggests building muscles and actually getting a physical workout while you're building towards orgasm.
Seriously, how does that work?
The insight is linking physical fitness directly to sexual performance and pleasure. It's framed as an in-the-moment workout.
Maybe role-playing, trainer and client.
Yeah, that's suggested. Maybe wearing sexy workout clothes or, nothing at all.
And they focus on specific muscles
Yeah.
important for sex.
They do. Glutes and quads are called out.
Right, butt muscles and thigh muscles.
Exactly. Glutes are vital for support in different positions, lifting the pelvis. Quads help with raising and lowering, especially in top positions. Strengthening them, the book says, improves endurance, makes sex more satisfying, and can make you feel sexier.
And they give specific exercises.
They do. For him, there's a glute exercise, lying on his back, lifting his hips off the floor.
Okay, and for her?
She straddles his hips while he's doing that and squats down onto his erection. Then she holds the squat for as long as he holds his glute lift.
Wow, that sounds challenging.
Definitely an endurance exercise. The source also notes that having the woman on top while the man's on his back often helps him last longer anyway.
Good tip.
Yeah.
What else? A stability ball exercise.
Yeah, focusing on abs, lying with your lower back on the ball, hands behind your head, doing crunches.
But how do you sex it up?
Well, for her, while she's doing the sit-ups, he kneels between her legs and licks her clit on the way up.
Okay.
And maybe trails his tongue up to her navel and back down as she lies back.
And for him?
She does the same, but licks the tip of his cock on the sit-up, trailing her tongue up and down. It's about integrating oral pleasure right into the exercise movement.
That's creative. There's a running note about abs, too.
Yeah, more ways to work abs during missionary position. Lifting your legs, lifting your pelvis while keeping feet together and knees wide, or doing a sit-up style crunch.
Important safety tip there.
Crucially, protecting your lower back by contracting your abs, they say, sucking your belly button to the floor.
And a bonus.
Holding the crunch position for your partner to stimulate your nipples or give you a kiss.
They also describe something called the Hoover.
Yes, for the woman in doggy-style position.
How does that work?
He enters with a strong thrust, which apparently expels air. Then he maintains shallow thrusts, not coming all the way out.
To create suction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's described as being very, very pleasurable for her.
So the overall promise of this team in training move is
Improved endurance, stronger muscles leading to more satisfying, maybe longer sex, and potentially more powerful orgasms over time. It's literally framing a workout routine as foreplay for better sex.
reframing fitness as part of intimacy. Wild. Okay, let's move on to move 8. High-tech night. This is about sex toys.
Yeah, exploring sensations that, as the source puts it, human touch alone might not achieve. Embracing technology for pleasure.
They give tips on buying toys.
They do, suggesting choosing a reputable, maybe couple-friendly adult store rather than a sketchy hole in the wall, or just shopping online if you're feeling shy.
And they even suggest the shop itself can be stimulating.
Apparently. Suggesting some adult stores can be places where discreet public displays of affection, like running fingers through hair or quick crotch rub, might actually be okay.
Huh. Okay. What about using vibrators?
The guidance is pretty basic but important. Always use lube. Start slow, lowest settings first.
Especially on sensitive areas.
Definitely. Like the clitoris and also the perineum, the area between the genitals and anus.
Why the perineum?
They note that externally stimulating the perineum in men can also stimulate the prostate internally, which is a major pleasure zone. Lowest settings are also advised initially for the head of the penis.
There's a specific note about bullet vibrators.
Yes, a running note. They're highlighted as small, powerful, versatile. A 5-speed bullet gets mentioned.
And how might you use one?
For women, suggestions include clitoral stimulation during other acts or placing one inside your underwear lining near the outer labia during penetration.
So both partners feel the vibration.
That's the idea. Or even used very carefully and hygienically.
Okay.
In the anus with a condom cover and maybe a cord for easy removal during vaginal sex.
Which brings up anal play safety again.
Absolutely. The notes are repeated. Always use lube. Clean toys thoroughly. Never share toys between orifices or partners without cleaning, and a fresh condom. Critical stuff.
Definitely. The move also talks about cock rings.
Right. Explaining how they work trapping blood in the shaft for harder, longer-lasting erections?
Do they help with lasting longer too?
Sometimes, yeah. If the ring also pulls the testicles slightly away from the body, that can help increase duration before ejaculation for some men. Vibrating rings add simultaneous stimulation for both partners.
So the result is potentially increased duration, more build-up time.
And a more intensified climax when it happens.
Tips for putting one on.
Easiest when not fully erect.
Yeah.
Different methods depending on whether you want balls in or balls out. Lube helps get it on and off easily.
And choosing the right ring?
Safety and comfort are key. Adjustable rings, ones you can remove instantly, are best, especially if you're new to them. Being able to keep it on when soft but remove it when hard is ideal. They even mention a specific one, the Duet, made of elastomer, affordable.
And a really vital safety rule.
Cannot stress this enough. Do not wear one for more than 30 minutes.
Why not?
Extended use, or if it's too tight, can cut off blood circulation. That can cause serious permanent damage. Take it off immediately if anything feels cold, numb, or changes color.
Okay, crucial safety point. It's about enhancing pleasure safely.
Exactly. Using tools wisely.
Yeah, the source apparently includes some basic anatomy, but it's woven in to explain why things work, right?
Yeah, it's not just a dry list. When they talk about stimulating the clitoris, for instance.
They define it.
Right, calling it the magic button, mentioning its 8,000 nerve endings, sole purpose being pleasure. They cover the labia, vagina, cervix, noting sensitivity varies there.
The G-spot.
Yeah, that spongy tissue on the front wall, needing that come-hither finger motion to find it, about 1 to 3 inches up.
Mm-hmm.
Also the U-spot around the urethra, and the glands for lubrication, like Skene's glands, the female prostate.
And for male anatomy.
Covers the basics. Penis, shaft, the head or glands, which is most sensitive, foreskin, the very sensitive frenulum underneath, that V-shaped bit.
And the ridge.
The corona, yeah. The brim at the base of the head, also super sensitive.
And they mention a forgotten zone.
For both sexes, the anus, rich in nerve endings. And for men, the prostate, which gets stimulated via anal play. Understanding this basic map helps you see why certain moves target specific spots.
It provides the knowledge part of that love, inspiration, enthusiasm, and knowledge formula they mentioned earlier.
Precisely. Hard to maximize pleasure if you don't know the equipment you're working with.
Makes sense. Okay, beyond these big structured moves, the source includes a whole bunch of other concepts and tips. Let's touch on some communication tools they suggest.
Okay, like the orgasm timing scale.
Yeah, what's the insight there?
Using a simple system, maybe numbers like 7, 8, 9, 10, or specific words, even gestures to signal how aroused you are.
Why do that?
The goal is practice, getting to know your own arousal patterns and your partner's better. They do acknowledge the cultural obsession with simultaneous orgasm.
The holy grail.
Right. Calling it that, noting it can feel really intimate, but also adds a lot of pressure.
So the advice is?
Focus on understanding each other's cycles. If simultaneous happens, great, it's a bonus. Don't make it the main goal.
Related to that is the orgasm word.
Yeah, agreeing on a specific word or phrase like come now or fuck yes or whatever to say right before you climax.
That's the point of that.
The idea is if you practice associating that word with orgasm, it might eventually help trigger arousal or even climax, maybe when it wouldn't otherwise happen. Potentially.
Interesting conditioning idea.
Oh.
And on the safety side of communication, especially for more adventurous stuff, the safe word.
Absolutely crucial,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing any kind of kink or role-playing like that human sex toy scenario mentioned elsewhere.
It's a non-negotiable stop signal.
Exactly. A pre-agreed code word that means stop, now, immediately. It has to be something unique, not words like no or stop, which might be part of the play itself.
Like common examples.
Red is common, but it could be anything. Toast, pineapple, rock, whatever you agree on. It means game over, break character, check in.
Okay, vital. Shifting from communication back to technique, they mentioned sensate focus.
Mm-hmm. This is about intentionally focusing purely on tactile sensations during intimacy.
Like how things feel.
Exactly. How the texture of skin feels, the brush of hair, the temperature of touch. The insight is that by shifting your focus away from performance or the goal of orgasm.
And just onto the feeling itself.
Yeah. It can actually lead to more intense pleasure. It's also mentioned as being helpful for performance anxiety or difficulty reaching orgasm.
Yep.
Takes the pressure off.
There's also a specific position mentioned, the yin-yang position.
Right. It's described as a variation of 69.
How does it work?
You lie side by side, but facing opposite directions. Your hips are aligned, and your top legs are bent for access to each other's genitals.
Well, I try that one.
It's described as fun for practicing syncing up during simultaneous oral sex. And the close body contact and angle can apparently be highly arousing.
Okay. On female orgasm, the source cites a statistic.
Yeah, from a Dr. Robert W. Birch saying only about 35% of women consistently orgasm from intercourse alone.
Because
Traditional positions, especially missionary, often don't provide enough direct clitoral stimulation. They mention the coital alignment technique, or CAT, as one position specifically designed for that during man-on-top sex.
it reinforces that idea again. You might need to move beyond the basics and really understand anatomy for optimal pleasure.
Definitely.
The source also revisits anal play specifically for men.
It does. Acknowledging that not all men are immediately keen, sometimes due to concerns about masculinity.
But highlighting.
That stimulating the prostate and the dense network of nerves in that area can feel incredibly amazing for many men.
What's the advice if a partner is hesitant?
Start slow. Very slow. Use generous amounts of lube. The anus doesn't self-lubricate. Maybe start with just external massage, then a well-lubed finger, or a small, specifically designed toy.
Gently.
Very gently. Pressing gently at the sphincter, letting it relax, sliding in bit by bit, using slow movements. Encouraging him to flex and relax his sphincter muscle can help the toy move in more easily.
They mention P-spot massagers.
Yeah, using a lubed one, and suggesting you can enhance it with oral sex if he's on his back, or hand stimulation if he's on all fours, maybe stimulating him until he comes that way.
And the safety rules bear repeating.
Always. Generous lube is essential to prevent tearing and infection. Clean toys meticulously. Never share toys between orifices or partners without cleaning, and a fresh condom. Safety first, always.
Right. Rope play gets a mention too, briefly.
Yeah, focusing on a very basic handcuff knot. Described mainly for leading someone, explicitly not for long-term bondage.
And the safety note.
Simple, but critical.
Yeah.
Always have scissors easily accessible nearby when playing with ropes, just in case.
They mention a variation with dental floss.
Tied around nipples, yeah. As another form of light bondage or sensation play.
Sensory deprivation also comes up.
Using things like blindfolds. And maybe sound deprivation for the woman, though they don't detail how.
What's the idea behind that?
To heighten the other senses, especially touch. To increase anticipation. It's compared to being in an isolation tank, creating intense self-awareness, encouraging relaxation, letting go of control, focusing purely on touch and internal sensations.
Removes distractions, adds vulnerability.
Exactly. Enhances the impact of every touch, adds an element of surprise.
Okay. The source also includes a really specific, detailed scenario example involving a hot tub.
Ah, yes, the stranger scenario example.
The insight here seems to be using a specific environment plus role-playing to manufacture a fantasy.
Totally. Injecting novelty. They give safety notes specific to hot tubs, too.
Like?
Use reliable birth control and STI protection, obviously. Use silicone-based lube because water washes away natural lubrication in water-based lubes.
Good tip.
And avoid letting the water jet spray directly into any orifice's vagina or anus because of infection risk.
Okay. And the role play itself?
Adopting stranger personas. Whispering exciting, maybe forbidden lines to each other like, you give it to me so much better than my husband, or your body is so hot.
using the public setting.
Yeah, letting the possibility of onlookers add to the turn-on.
How do they suggest managing penetration in a hot tub?
Pulling bathing suits just aside enough, him pulling his penis out of his shorts, her lowering herself onto his cock slowly, maybe holding the rim of the tug or his shoulders for support, focusing on the feeling, showing pleasure on your face.
And if things get too intense or risky there?
The suggestion is move it to a hotel room. Maybe make the transition part of the game, like a passionate kiss in the elevator to seal the deal.
And in the hotel room, they suggest an exhibitionist party.
Yeah, peeling off wet clothes, turning the lights on, opening the thick curtains, but leaving the thin, sheer ones closed.
For a silhouette effect. Visible from outside.
That's the idea, adding that layer of voyeuristic thrill.
And techniques for this scenario.
Things like an ambidextrous hand job, using your non-dominant hand for a different sensation. Ginger gloves, using just the softest fingertip touches. Ridging, stroking the ridge of the penis head with a looped finger. The faux vagina hand technique again. All while making intense eye contact, watching each other's pleasure.
And then, balcony sex.
Right. Putting on robes, taking a chair out onto the balcony, her leaning over the railing, him lifting her robe, entering from behind.
While touching her elsewhere.
Reaching inside the robe to touch her nipples or clitoris, with the added thrill of maybe seeing people passing by on the street below.
And the point of this whole elaborate scenario.
It seems to be about holding on to that stranger feeling even afterward. Using a manufactured fantasy and novelty to keep the relationship dynamic, fresh, maybe a bit edgy and flirty.
Wow, okay. It's
Yeah.
quite detailed. Finally, the source touches on the Kama Sutra.
It does, framing it as ancient wisdom but giving it a modern twist.
They explain the name.
Yeah, breaking down the Sanskrit. Kama, meaning enjoyment of the five physical senses, and sutra, meaning a thread or collection of wisdom. So Kama Sutra is basically a collection of sensual wisdom.
How do they suggest applying it? The warm-up section is called Art of Getting It On.
Right. And it involves creating a dedicated pleasure room, maybe just transforming your usual space, moving furniture, pushing the bed aside, putting a nice sheet or silky blanket on the floor. They note the floor feels more stable than a bed and maybe less associated with just sleep.
And referencing the ancient text for setting the mood.
Yeah, suggesting things like bathing together first, dressing up slightly, offering drinks, a gentle embrace, amusing conversation, including, interestingly, coarse or sex talk.
Music, too.
Music, talking about arts. Basically creating a specific, sensual, almost ritualistic atmosphere before you even get to kissing.
And the marathon part. It's in his kiss.
This explores the Kama Sutra's famous descriptions of different types of kisses, they list 8, and suggests trying each one on different parts of the body, not just the lips. All over.
Forehead, cheeks, ears, eyes, lips, chin, feet, neck, nipples, fingers, penis, clitoris, belly button, thighs, anywhere.
And the kiss types have names.
Yeah, Sanskrit names like Nimitaka, a light brush, Samachumbana, passionate equal, Tiriak, slanting kiss, maybe while caressing breasts or rubbing genitals, Udvranta, a reverse kiss, turning the head. The insight is the sheer variety, using kissing as a full-body exploration.
There's a modified move mentioned, twining of the creeper.
Yes. The woman wraps herself around the man against a wall like vines on a tree, maybe stripping off her blouse, wrapping one leg around him, holding his shoulders for balance. Spreading his legs might help with height differences.
And this relates to
The Kama Sutra's concept of flirtation as involving advance and retreat, a kind of playful struggle, building tension.
mouth music.
That's the ancient term they cite for oral sex, noting it was historically performed by eunuchs in some cultures.
And the technique for him, called nominal congress, oral sex for him, focusing on eye contact, using the tongue in varied ways, flicking, swirling, sucking, changing the pace, and again, mentioning the option to bring him to orgasm or stop just short to save it for later intercourse.
There's another position described, Congress of the Cow.
The woman stands, bends over deeply to touch the floor, maybe using a stool or block for support if needed. Legs slightly spread, knees bent. He stands behind her and enters from behind.
Any specific actions?
Pressing her legs together can create a snugger fit. Shifting her weight subtly from one leg to the other can apparently massage his cock. They also suggest switching to a less intense move if he's getting too close to coming too soon. Shows flexibility within the plan.
Wow. Okay. So we have covered a huge range here, from like deeply sensual cooking
Right, to building tension with quickies in public spaces,
to structured workouts designed for sex.
exploring sex toys, adapting ancient practices like the Kama
And
Sutra.
these really specific, elaborate role-playing fantasies.
It really is a comprehensive, almost exhaustive look at how someone might apply structure, preparation, and all these different scenarios to create these, well, extended, intense sexual events.
The core thread through all of it seems to be using deliberate planning and a whole arsenal of diverse techniques.
Yeah, to heighten intimacy, heighten pleasure, and really push beyond maybe the spontaneous or the routine.
It's like a manual for treating sex as, I don't know, a project, a performance art.
A workout, a culinary experience, all of the above, maybe.
Which brings us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe mull over.
Mm-hmm.
Given all these detailed plans, these structured moves, the specific preparations suggested in this source material, how might adopting such a deliberately planned approach to intimacy fundamentally change the dynamic of spontaneity in a relationship?
That's a great question. And when you choose to plan and structure your sexual experiences this way, focusing on the marathon aspect,
Yeah.
what might be gained? What are the potential benefits?
And perhaps just as importantly, what, if anything, might be lost? Is there a trade-off? It's definitely a fascinating question to think about based on the ideas we've explored today from this source.